Welcome to Hey Therapist. I'm your host, Leslie Ross. With me is my producer, Jay Wesley Lindley. Let's get mental. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hey Therapist. We are on episode 30. We have made it into the 3 zeros. Seems like we've done a lot more, and then it barely seems like I've done any. We've gone straight from Christmas. I was in Walmart and, all the other stores. We've gone straight from Christmas to Valentine's Day. There's no in between, and it made me, start thinking about gift giving and Valentine's Day and what do you do for your person. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about what people may want and what you get and the thought process behind that. Because I don't think there's anyone out there that doesn't like to get a gift. They may not want big gifts. They may not want a lot of things. But I don't think there's anyone out there that if you got them a gift, they would be like, how dare you? I'm just so bad, put off by this. But I think it's important to know your person. And there's a lot of people that don't buy into Valentine's Day and they believe it's a Hallmark holiday or whatever. And maybe it is, but that doesn't mean that it has any less meaning to it for people. And if you're in a relationship of any sort, I think that, you kind of have a possible expectation that your partner's going to get you something. And I think that's what kind of made me start thinking about this, because I'm looking down the aisles at Walmart, and really I was just looking at the candy because I wanted to buy myself some candy. But I was looking down the aisles at Walmart, and they have all of the little cutesy things and the bears and the gift sets. And it's just so important that you keep what your partner may want in mind. And also, as I'm looking, it's a very female focused gift selection. And I don't really agree with that because, again, everyone likes getting a gift. I mean, Jay, you like getting presents, don't you?
I do, absolutely.
So yeah, I was really disappointed that there's not, there may be a coffee mug or something mixed in there, maybe a shave kit, but it was really, 95% female targeted.
Do you think that's because that specifically men are the majority of the people that go into that place to get a lady something?
Possibly.
Whereas, you go to the technology store, if the guys said something about that, or you know what I mean, or
true.
whatever.
That's true.
Maybe they're geared towards a very specific female audience.
I think so. And I think it's to make it easier for some men.
Absolutely.
Because notoriously, and I do know some great men who are great gift buyers. They are thoughtful. They put in the work. They're making the notes. But for the most part, they get to the day of or day before. There is nothing more entertaining than the card aisle at your Walmart or Walgreens or CVS or wherever it is, the day before or the day of.
I've been there.
Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, whatever it is. And these men are just lost. What do I do? Yeah. And so maybe it is to make it easier.
You'd be surprised how many men standing in that aisle on that day will grab the very first card that they pick up.
Oh, now I don't know that I would be surprised.
Okay, probably not. Yeah. But it's true.
Yeah.
A lot of us do. Just grab, because it's not about what it says. I think it's about the nagging that has come prior to or post that they may expect if they don't get a card at all. You know what I mean?
Right. You mentioned that. And it's, if you are out there and you are a person that says, I don't want anything and you don't get anything, that's a you issue.
Yeah. You don't really have an argument to be upset about that.
Right. It goes into the playing games and just not being honest with your partner and you can say, I don't want anything big, but I do want something, a card, even, Walmart has great flowers most of the time. You don't have to spend all this money on a dozen roses or roses at all. It really, most women don't like roses. I will throw that out there and I will stand behind it.
You would be surprised at how many women don't care for roses.
Don't care for them. They're way overpriced and they die very quickly. where if you go buy a fresh batch of just the fresh flowers at Walmart and buy a vase, that's going to be cheaper than going to the flower shop anyway. And, they're going to last forever. Get some daisies, some lilies, whatever it is. Like, you can get these fresher flowers that are going to last. And a lot of times too, if you are a man who's known for generic gifting and you just bring home some roses and a box of chocolate, your person may be upset by that because you did put no thought into it. But I think it's about expectations and what is the conversation that you have had, because you get to have conversations about these things. I think a lot of times people set their partners up for failure and say, no, I don't want anything. I don't want anything. And then when they don't get anything, like, why don't you give me anything? Well, because you said you didn't want anything. Yeah. And it's just not fair.
So this year, Laura and I went about gift giving completely differently than we ever have. Mm-hmm. She told me, this is what I want. She ordered it. We got it wrapped, had it under the tree for her, basically, ready for her to open when it was time to open.
Right.
And I thought, wow, this is the greatest year in the history of Christmas giving for our relationship. And then after it was over, I felt lacking, like I didn't do anything, which I didn't.
Right.
But it was by design, but I still noticed that it didn't feel right. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. And I'm the kind of guy that it's like, I would rather get you something when I see it and think of you.
Yes.
So Valentine's Day is a deadline that blows me away. I'm horrible at it. It's like, okay, I got the 14th. I have till the 14th now to find something that will make her happy, she'll be like, oh, that's awesome. You thought of me. But you know what I mean? But in reality, I wasn't thinking about her. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about Valentine's Day. I was thinking of a deadline. But then some women argue, well, you would just never give me anything if there wasn't a deadline of Valentine's. But then if I'm just getting you something because it's a deadline, it's not thoughtful, it's not a good gift, it's worthless anyway. So sometimes it can feel like a lose-lose.
Sure.
As a guy. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, I feel like I had the win-win available to me this year, and it still felt like a loss in my category. So maybe it's a happy medium. Maybe she tells me exactly what she really wants. She gets it, packs it. But I still find her a few things that when I think about her, you know what I mean? Takes the pressure off
just
a little bit,
something. Just to say, hey, I know you got that, but I wanted to get you this too.
Exactly.
And I thought about this. And I think that's a good point. When it is... It does put people in a position to be like, well, I mean, I got you this because I felt like I had to. And there are some people who only give gifts on those days. So then if they don't come through with a gift, if they don't come through with something that's like, oh, well, you're not going to give me anything. Yeah. Cool. This is what we're doing. But I think it goes back to knowing your person. Yeah. And knowing what they would want, because I'm pretty simple when it comes to things. Like if you want to handwrite me a note, it doesn't even have to be a card. You don't have to go buy a card because I'm just probably going to throw it away or feel obligated to save it. But if you want to just handwrite a note, and even if you brought me the fresh flowers from Walmart still in the package, I've got vases. Like I could put those, or my favorite candy bar, those little things. And like you said, it's those little thoughtful things. Like I saw this, I thought of you, I wanted to get it for you. Instead of, I brought you this big diamond bracelet or something that I'm not even sure you're going to like, but I saw the commercial and it said it was for Valentine's Day. So here you go. And it's just like, okay.
Guys, I've found, and this just works for me best, but when it comes to jewelry and or more expensive items like that, take her with you to pick it out. Mm-hmm. The jewelry especially.
And
my beautiful wife, she loves a sale. So as soon as we get to the jewelry store, we go to the sale rack. You know what I mean? It's win-win for me, She picks out something she likes and it's on sale.
Right. Exactly. But you guys have had those conversations.
Right.
And everyone is okay with that.
And I've still, swung for the fences on something that I thought was cool and missed. You know what I mean? Strike out. Thanks, babe. I was like, oh man, thought I was gonna do it that time, but I learned. Especially when it comes to jewelry.
Oh, yes.
What jewelry, I like and what she likes isn't exactly the same.
No, it's usually not. And, if you said, hey, if you have a partner that you do know likes jewelry, because my sister his wife, does enjoy her jewelry. If you said, hey, listen, I'm going to go to this store. Why don't you jump on the website? Or why don't we go through there? Like, let's say you're at the mall or you're at the place. Let's go through here and you pick out 3 things that you would buy yourself that you really like. And then you go away and I'm going to pick the one that I like best. So then you still have maybe an element of surprise, but also, you know they're going to like it.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be, I'm going to pick you this. And then, and I will say, when you're giving gifts, it's the thought that counts, and people should not be rude, for sure, if you get someone something they don't enjoy. But they should also have the opportunity, like, here's your gift. I'm not sure if you're going to like it, but here's the receipt. Here's the gift receipt. You can go get you something that you like if you don't enjoy this. And, you know, even if you spent a lot of time thinking about it, you can always explain your thought process. And your person's probably going to be like, oh my God, that's really thoughtful. I probably won't I won't wear this.
Right.
And so you get the option to change it.
And as the gift giver, you can't be mad if they don't like it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Even, I don't care if you put 2 hours of searching for it on Amazon.
Right, exactly. You got into my saved list.
Yeah.
Maybe something I don't want anymore.
Right. That's
I already bought for myself. And it's true. You don't get to get upset, you know, and I read these things. I'm on Reddit a lot. And I was going through, when I was thinking about this topic, I was reading like some Reddit threads about Valentine's gifts and people getting in these huge blowouts because their partner, boys, men and women, have both written these same types of things where, well, they got me something I didn't like and I told them that I didn't like it and they got all upset about it. So my first question is, how did you tell them you didn't like it? Like, were you rude? Did you open it and go, oh my God? Like, I mean, I watched that stupid 90 Day Fiance. I realize, come on, people, don't at me with it. But I enjoy the stupid, and I know most of it's scripted. It's fine. But there's this one dude who doesn't have money, and this girl who comes from money is wanting to marry him. She knows he doesn't have money, but she wanted him to propose. So he went and bought her a ring that he could afford so he could have a ring to propose to her. And she wouldn't say yes because it's not the ring they talked about. And he's like, well, I couldn't afford that right now. Like, I wanted to get you a ring. And so I got this one for you so we could have a ring. We'll save up. We'll get the one you like for later. And she's just like, no.
Or if you have to have the image of your daddy's money, then daddy can buy a ring and you can wear that one.
Exactly. Like, bro, fine. If you want to buy yourself a ring, I'll put it on your finger.
Absolutely.
Like, it's cool. But you know what you have. And I think it just, it goes to that, what are your expectations? And if you do have expectations, which, by the way, expectations usually are setups for failure. If you do have expectations, you very much need to express that to your partner. Because if you are saying, I don't want anything, I don't want anything, I don't want anything. No, it's fine. It's fine. And when they don't come across with anything, you bet not be mad.
It has to be fine.
It has to be fine. It's like if you have an argument or whatever has happened in your relationship, infidelity or lies or whatever, and you say, I forgive you, we're moving forward, then you move forward. Yeah. Like, you don't get to bring it up again. You don't get to hold this bad gift over their head, or last year you didn't give me anything, because they get to say, well, last year you said you didn't want anything.
And you'll think about it, and they'll think about it again, but you can't bring it up.
That's
the difference, especially those big ones, because you both had to move past it in a certain way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Even one was the transgressor, one, had it happen to them, but you still had to move past it. Maybe they won't transgress again.
Right.
Maybe they will, allow that one, but never again, so you both have to move to another place.
Exactly. And it's the same thing with this type of situation. As much as I do enjoy Valentine's Day, like, I think it's sweet and you get to see the things and you get to express your love. You should be doing that anyway. Like Jay said, I stopped at the gas station to buy something else and I grabbed you a candy bar because I know you wanted one, or I knew you were having a rough day, or this is the kind you like, whatever it is. Those are the things that are really more meaningful than the forced march into the Walmart or wherever you're going, the sports store or whatever it is, so you can get your man something he enjoys, or you can get, what do they want? What would they enjoy? And sometimes it may just be time. It may be, hey, I know it's Valentine's Day and money's tight or whatever it is. So instead of going out to dinner somewhere, I'm going to cook you dinner. If you're not the one that usually cooks dinner, or even if you are, I'm going to cook you a nice dinner. We're going to watch, we're going to put our phones down. We're going to spend time together. It's going to be that quality time or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a big damn deal, but it should be meaningful if there's the expectation that it should be meaningful. And I don't think men get the voice in that a lot of times. Sometimes you're in situations where you don't know, like maybe you just started dating, or, you know, maybe it's not super serious. Jay just remembered what?
Sorry, no,
Go.
Okay. If you just started dating and wow, why did I forget that again? Holy cow. I'm so sorry. I interrupted you just to forget it again.
It's okay. It's an off day. It's fine. I literally woke up this morning, and we record on Sundays, just as a side. I really woke up this morning thinking it was Saturday. Like, just, oh, it's Saturday. And I was going about my day. And then I realized what time it was. And I was like, oh, crap. I was supposed to record today. So I messaged Jay, and he gave in and gave me some time today. And I appreciate that. But going back to, you know, if you just started dating, if you're just getting around each other, if you're not real sure, you can have a conversation about that. You can be like, listen, you know, you may be in a situationship. You may be just talking. You may be full on dating. You may be in a committed thing, but this is the first holiday, if you will, that you're coming across. You get to have a conversation of, hey, we've never done Valentine's together. What are your expectations? What do you want? If you get the answer of, I really don't want anything, then you get to say, listen, if you say you don't want anything, I'm not going to get you anything, because I don't care about getting anything for Valentine's Day. So if you don't want anything, but you better speak up now if you want anything at all, because of whatever you tell me, I'm going off of. And I think it's a good precedence to start, because I feel like, you know, in any situation, you get to say what you mean and mean what you say, but you don't be mean when you say it. Like, that's just my little golden rule. And if you say, I don't want anything, and they don't get you anything, then you either go, oh, thank you for not wasting money on Valentine's Day and not getting me anything. And that's the only acceptable response. You don't get to be mean. You don't get to be like, well, you should have thought, you should have. Why? You said you didn't want anything. All they have to go off of is your word. So I think it's just really important to say, you know what, I really don't want a bunch. Like, I know, you know, it's not a big deal. I do not need a stuffed animal. I don't want
roses and stuffed animal chocolates.
You know, it's fine. Unless it's like chocolate roses. That's doable. Like, I could go for some chocolate roses, and that may be, you know, the quirky way that you do it. If they say, I don't like roses, you know, I do like chocolate, whatever, get them some chocolate roses. You know, it's just those little things. Bring home their favorite, make them a little basket with their favorite snacks in it. You know, bring home whatever it is. You need to say, I don't want a lot, but I do want something. I have the expectation you're going to at least write me a love note or get me a card, whatever it is. Send me a song that day, you know, on the Spotify me a song and in a text message, whatever it is. Post something on Facebook or whatever, or socials if you're, you know, official that way. Sometimes it's just those little things that can really make someone feel thought of and feel special. And I think that's what it's really about, is what, you know, birthdays are about. And some of those other things is just feeling special and knowing that someone is thinking of you, because we all like to be thought of. We all want our partner to be like, you know what? I thought of you today. I wrote this for you. And it may be something stupid. It may be something quirky. It may be, maybe they know that you particularly don't like something and they find a way to make it funny. And I had one, there's a politician I particularly do not like. And I had someone send me a card or write me a card in the tone of that politician. But it was hilarious because I was like, oh my God, like it just made me giggle and eye roll. And it was thoughtful because they know how I feel about it, but they made it in a way that it was cute. And I'm like, oh, you dumb, but that's sweet, you know? And so I think it is those little things that we can do for each other. And it shouldn't just be on that day. Like Jay said, you know, it's I thought of you here. Or I was on this website shopping for myself and I came across something that I thought you would enjoy. So I got it for you. You know, it's those little things that I think make us feel even more special than the publicized holidays.
What if, and this may be a topic for another podcast. What if those little endearing things that when you first got together that were cute and, you know, made you say, they weren't something that really lined up with what you liked initially, but they were quirky, they were endearing, they liked them. But now 10, 15, 20 years later, those things just annoy you. Is there a way to move past that once you get to that point, or is it done? Is the relationship over at that point?
Well, I think it's, why is it annoying you? Like what would cause that to now be an annoyance? Do you just not like their personality anymore? Because
Great point.
It's who you picked.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll use myself as an example. Let's say the wife all of a sudden didn't like that I was forgetful. Or didn't like that I was, you know, that I wasn't listening in a moment, and she had to get my attention. She knows that, she's made that many times. So let's say that, use that as an example. All of a sudden she she can't stand that now. But that's still me. It's a normal part of me.
Right.
I've noticed some couples, they'll fall into that. It's almost like what was initially endearing and cute, and it was made them different, now is annoying.
I think it's important to look at, why is it now annoying? Because again, you did make the choice, you know, and I know it took Laura a little while to realize she had to be like, hey, are you listening to me? Because that's who you are. And it's not intentional.
Right.
It's never been disrespectful in that you're just ignoring her. You're just tuned into something else, and your ADHD brain is tuned into something else.
When I tune in, I tune all the way in.
It's the hyper focus.
Yeah.
And so she recognized now, if I really need you to hear me, I'm going to be like, hey, are you listening? Are you tuned in? Whatever it is. Right. If people start getting annoyed with those little things that are our personalities, that aren't really things that we could change. I mean, that's not something that you could change.
Or even if I wanted to change, could immediately change. I have to work on it.
Sure,
yeah.
Absolutely. And so it's just a question of, why now? Why is it bothering you now? Right. What has changed in your partner that your fundamental personality is now getting on their nerves? When I did a lot of couples counseling, I always use the analogy, it's not the cup. Because I would have couples come in and it's cups, it's cabinet doors, it's whatever it is. They're doing something that's driving the other person crazy. They leave their cup sitting on the counter. Somebody leaves the counter door. Someone always leaves the cabinet doors open. One's a door open, one's a door shut.
I'm the opener, she's the shutter.
It never fails, because to that person, it's not important. It's not important to me that I've left my cup sitting on the coffee table for a cup. I'll move it. Like, what's it hurting for?
It's on a coaster.
Why is it bothering you so much? And it's usually because something in them is annoyed. It's a personality trait of theirs, or they feel like it's disrespectful because they know I don't like it. And at a certain point, I think if you nag someone enough about something, they do start doing things intentionally. If your partner is leaving a cup around and you're like, that fucking cup, I swear, if you don't move your cup, then when they're on your nerves one day or you're on theirs one day, their cup's going to sit there. Even if they've been doing really good about moving it. Because it's not about the cup. It's not about the cabinet doors. It's not about where they leave their shoes. Because again, they've probably been doing that for a long time. Like, this is probably not a new behavior. You are just sick of picking it up. Okay, well, there's different ways to express that. You know, if they leave their shoes by the door every day when they came in, and they've been doing that for 1, 5, 15, 20 years, and all of a sudden, you're annoyed at the shoes by the door. Why? Why is it all of a sudden annoying you? One, it's about that conversation of you internally figuring out, why is this bothering me now? And they like to take their shoes out. Like, I am a person who does not like to wear shoes in my house. So I have a pile of shoes by my front door, like, because it's gross to me. I try not to wear shoes in my house. I have house shoes. I wear those shoes in my house. But as far as street shoes, I try not to wear them in and out of the house because the outside is gross and you're bringing that in. So in my old house, especially, I would come in, take off my shoes right there. And I would end up with like 7 or 8 pairs of shoes. And when I got sick of tripping over them, because I lived alone for the most part, when I got sick of tripping over them, I would bundle them all up and take them and put them up and basically start over. And so, if I had a partner that annoyed, I probably would have done something different. I may have bought like a shoe rack that I could put right there to get them off the floor,
Or only have 2 or 3 pile up and then carry,
or take them off and have my hand pick them up and carry them, because I probably was going straight to the bathroom anyway, which is right by the closet, which I could have just took them off and carried them with me, but I didn't. Whatever. It's still like that in my new house. I still have a pile and I bundle them up every now and then. But
that's your version of dropping your pants as soon as you walk in the door.
Exactly.
I'm home. Yeah.
The bra comes off, the shoes come off. It's, it's comfort. Why is it bothering you now? And how do we fix it? Because this may be something that I want to take my shoes off as soon as I walk in the door. So how do we compromise in that? But you bitching at me about it, I promise you is not going to get me to put anything up. That cup is going to be there, that cabinet door. I'm going to take the cabinet doors off the hinges. I'm going to pull them motherfucker. Like, you ain't going to have cabinet doors. And I think it's when it becomes that it really is about communication and the nagging. Because you shouldn't be nagging your partner to do anything. You can gently remind them. You can have another conversation when everyone is in a good headspace, because when we're emotional, we are not rational. So if you walk in and the shoes are there, the cup is there, whatever it is that has all of a sudden started getting on your nerves, and you go into rage mode and you are emotional and you're yelling at them about it, they're going to be like, first, whoa, hey, what just happened? Like, I'm just sitting here watching TV, playing my game, doing work, whatever it is. Why are you coming in hot? Like, well, I've told you. Okay. But what have I told you? Like, have we actually had a conversation about it? Or have you just told me, a grown person in a relationship, to do something? Because nobody wants to be mothered or fathered in their relationship. And I think it sometimes boils down to that, of this battle of wills, where it really just shouldn't be. Like, we should just be, listen. And sometimes we don't know why it's bothering us. But you get to say that too. Listen, I don't know why all of a sudden this is driving me up the wall, but it really is. How can we fix it? And that's the conversation you have.
It is I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I believe the number one issue with Valentine's Day between couples will be that right there.
Oh, for sure.
Something bothering that they won't talk about it properly or whatever, and it'll be a blow up because of Valentine's Day or because of whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, anniversaries, whatever. It's the catalyst. It's the straw. Because, again, it goes back to, it's not about the cup. Like, they may flip out on you about something so asinine that you're just like, the fuck is happening? Like, I don't even know why you're mad.
Is that a Stanley Cup? What's going on?
Right. I'm sorry you paid $50 for a cup. Like, gosh, and I think that's just it. Is like, what is it actually about? Is there some other relationship issue that's not being addressed, that you're not bringing up, or that you've brought up and is not changing? So now every little thing becomes a trigger point, and it gets to one little thing that's usually something so stupid, and I think I've told the story on myself about this is, I was having a rough day and it was super stressful, and I'm just going on, and I just had a shit week, and all the things were happening, and I went out to dinner and I spilled a drink on myself, and I started just crying at dinner, and everybody's like, you good, bro? It's just water. Like, you're good. And I was like, I just felt like such a failure, and it had nothing to do with me spilling water on myself. Like, that's stupid. Like, come on.
Right.
It wasn't even embarrassing. I mean, it's not like it was all these people saw me or whatever. Like, I just spilled water at my little group of like 5 people, and I just bust out crying. And they're like, you good, bro?
The straw that broke the
Obviously,
camel's back.
I am not well right now. No, I'm not good. But it wasn't about that. Like on a normal day in any other circumstance, me spilling something on myself is not abnormal. Like if you would, me falling down, like I fall, I trip. I am the person that will never be embarrassed about that. I fell in Vegas one time. I hadn't even drinking. I was taking a picture. I took a step back. I fell flat on my face. All these people looking at me, I'm like, I'm good. It's fine. I just fall down. Like it, I just do. And it doesn't embarrass me. It doesn't bother me. But for some reason, everything else had just built up and it was just the straw. When you're in that relationship or when you're having those conversations or whatever, and someone lashes out over something seemingly just odd, the cups, the cabinets, the shoes, the whatever, you not texting them back or, whatever it is. Why? What is happening? And what's been happening either in your relationship or in their life that they may not be talking to you about. They may be super stressed. There may be a lot going on. And they're like, well, I don't want to bother you. I didn't want to talk to you about it, but it's just all of this other stuff. And it gets displaced because we do tend to lash out on the people closest to us. And it's a really shitty operating system, but it's how our brain is because we lash out on the people we feel safest with or the people we really don't care. Like, I don't care if I'm hateful to you. I don't care if I'm rude to you. Or I know I can be mean and you're going to tolerate it, which is, again, a really bad operating system. But it's the way our brains work because we feel safe with that person and we may say things we don't mean or lash out or whatever it is and be like, you know what, I was just having a bad day. And your person that cares about you will most likely understand that. Then you have conversations about how to handle your bad days better because it's not fair. Your partner is not your punching board.
Yeah, don't have too many of those without conversations.
Absolutely.
Because then you won't have very many of those after.
No, you will not have very many of those. That relationship will not last long. And if they're like, what's wrong? You're like, nothing. Okay. Like, obviously something is wrong. Instead of the nothings, instead of the it's fines. Oh, I hate it when people say that. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, especially if something has changed, I'm pretty intuitive with people. I know when modes changed, when attitudes changed, when people have kind of a change up in their behaviors, I'm gonna be like, listen, what's going on? Something's different. Nothing. Well, something is different. So when you're ready to have a conversation about it, we can talk about it. Until then, you need to act right. But it's true though. Like, you don't get to just change up behavior. And you can say, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. I'm in a cranky mood. Because sometimes we just get in moods and we don't know why.
True.
Or we're upset about something that maybe our partner did do, but we don't know how to approach it at that time. So we're like, listen, I'm upset about this and I don't want to talk about it right now because we're going to fight. Because I'm not in the mindset to even maybe understand why you're upset or talk to you about ways to make it better because I may not have an answer. It may be you did this and it pissed me off, or you did this and it really hurt my feelings, but I don't know a way to fix it. I don't know how to address it. So just give me a day or two. Then I will either get over it or I'll talk to you about it. And I think that's how you build that healthy communication. You don't have the secrets. You're not, mad at someone, because if you're going to be mad at somebody, they get to know why you're mad at them. You may not be ready to address it, but they get to know at least an overview. Like when you didn't call me back for 4 hours, when you said, I'll call you right back, and I know you weren't doing anything, it hurt my feelings. But if you would have just said, listen, I'm about to jump on my game, I'll call you when I'm done, or I'm in the middle of the game, I'll call you when I'm done, I'd have been all right with that. All right, cool.
Right.
But when you're constantly calling or texting somebody and then you go these big, long gaps, you're changing your behavior, you're changing your patterns. The other person on the other end of that, and men and women both, are going to go, oh, this is weird. Like, why didn't they call me? Why didn't they message me? Why did they not get me anything for Valentine's Day or my birthday, or think about doing this or that or the other? It's just one of those things. And I say it a lot and I'll continue to say it. It's about communication. And what are your needs? How are those expressed? And what are your expectations from your partner? Because you get to have expectations and they get to say if they're going to meet them or not.
Is it natural when you get those hours long gaps, let's say, especially in newer relationships, when you really don't know the person as well, for the person to think of like infidelity, cheating, he or she's with somebody else? Is that natural or is that just with some people?
I think there's questions always. And I think it comes from our history. Like, what was your history? Have you been in a lot of relationships or one or two big relationships where someone was being unfaithful, where they were cheating on you, where they were doing things you wouldn't have liked? I think your automatic response is they're cheating on me. And then you have to stop yourself and go, okay, is this the person that would cheat on me?
Right.
And if they are, why are you even worried? Like, don't worry about them calling you. Like, just peace out. Like, I'm done. It's like going through your partner's phones. Like, you should, I do believe that in a committed, faithful relationship, monogamous relationship where you've had the conversations, it's just you and me, that your phones probably shouldn't be locked up. I also believe you shouldn't be going through each other's phones. Like, if I'm with someone, I should be able to pick up their phone, grab a passcode, change the music, look up something on Google, whatever it is. Should I be snooping through their text messages? No. And if you go snooping, you're going to find something you don't like. Because
Really?
I'm probably going to be bitching about you. Like, maybe you did something that is not big enough for me to actually talk to you about. It's not big enough for me to say, listen, this is a problem. It's like, this motherfucker, you ain't gonna believe what he said, what he did. And then my friend will be like, oh, girl, you know it. And then we're going to be like, yeah, whatever. And I'm going to be done with it because I just needed to vent it out. It's not big enough to address. But you may go into my phone and see that and get all butthurt by it.
Take it as a personal attack.
Well, that's a you thing. You should have been in my phone going through some stupid.
Well, I think I agree with you. I think, the codes should be available for, the significant others that are monogamous for sure. But I also think you should allow at least another person in their lives for them to bitch about you. And know for a fact, if you go snooping in text, I know for a fact, if I was to go snooping in my wife's text, the two of you have talked smack about me at some point. And I get that. I get that because I'm a guy. I'm a human male who isn't perfect. So yeah, I get that. But she needs that person, right? I mean, she absolutely has to have somebody to talk smack about me with.
We all do.
And you and Lainey now. So.
We need you need that safe person you can vent to.
Right.
And if you are, bitching about your partner to someone that doesn't like your partner, that's probably not a good idea.
Or your mom.
Don't tell your
Don't
once
tell
your mama knows.
Yep.
It's a wrap.
She'll never accept him again.
Ever. It is
or
a
her.
wrap.
Again, yeah.
It is a wrap. But, I think it is healthy to have someone to talk about because not everything needs to be an issue. Not everything needs to be brought up. You don't need to have a conversation every time they piss you off about something because they're going to.
And the next time you talk to my wife, if she was bitching about me to you, you may have said, hey, instead of texting back to her, you may have said something verbally like, hey, he wasn't so bad. You shouldn't complain about that.
Right.
That wasn't a big deal. Don't worry about that.
Exactly.
Or, you know what I mean? It could have been positive for me too. So.
For sure.
But I didn't see that text, so now I'm mad at both of you.
Right. I just saw the one where she started and then she walked in. I had to put the phone down.
Exactly.
But, if you go snooping, you will find something that you're going to be mad about. Like whether it's, general bitching or maybe they Googled something you didn't like. Like maybe they on the little drum beat you hear. But
always do that on private.
It's fine. Yeah, go into your private mode. It's whatever they call that. It's fine. I think you should have that access because if you're with someone that you can't trust enough that you feel like you need to snoop through their phone, why the are you with that person? Like that doesn't even make sense to me. And I've dealt with that a lot, especially when there's been infidelity, why are you with them then?
Yeah.
Like if you say, I trust you, then you trust them.
Yeah. If y'all's laying right there on the couch watching Netflix and chilling and you, boy or girl, either side say, hey, let me see your phone real quick. If they flinch, they got something to hide.
Right.
If they hand it to you and keep watching popcorn thrown in their mouth and you hit the code and start looking and they ain't looking over, they ain't got nothing to hide.
They ain't nothing to hide.
So don't really go through it. Hand it back to them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Tell them, text them I love them in there, something, and you know what I mean? Or whatever.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
And the reality is, if someone is trying to be shady, like let your partner have access to your phone because the more they have access and they think they have access and they have the freedom to it, you're not going to be looking.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, it's a win-win both ways. If your partner's picking up their phone and turning it where you can't see it, unless their birthday's coming up and you're planning a surprise party, like you, And phones are very private to us. You know, we do a lot of things in our phones, and it's just like, you know, your personal computers or whatever it is. But also, why would you be with someone that you're limiting access to your life? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why? It's like having Life 360, those types of things. Like, if you're not doing anything, what damn difference does it matter? Right. And if you're in a trusting relationship, they're not going to be going, why were you there? Where were you at? Like, they don't care. Yeah, they're like, oh, okay, you're at work. Oh, okay. I didn't want to bother you. Like, I looked to see where you were because I knew you were at work. Like, you were at work. I wasn't sure if you'd left yet. I didn't want to call if you were still at work because maybe you can't have your phone at work, or maybe text it, whatever it is. It's those things that it can, especially if you have someone who, and we've talked about attachment styles. If you have someone who has like an anxious attachment style, and maybe they haven't heard from you, and they heard about a wreck on the highway, or they know you can't message them at work or whatever, and they're not sure if you're still there. If they can look at that, it's way better than going, hey, why aren't you messaging? Hey, why didn't you call me? Hey, you know, it helps ease their nonsense.
Going 65 miles an hour down I-35. Okay, he's good.
Okay, he's good.
Yeah.
Right. It's fine. The wreck was over there. They're safe. They're over here still moving, whatever it is. And so it's those little things that I think people overlook. And maybe that's the gift you give them. Hey, here's my passcode. Happy Valentine's Day. Here's a Life 360. You know, This is what you've got. Like, it's those little things that you can do for men and women both appreciate having transparency in their relationships. You know, and a lot of times women get the bad rap of they're so clingy. They want to know where I am. They want to. I know plenty of men like that too. They may not openly say it, but they're the same way.
Right.
They want to know where you are. They want to know who you're talking to. What are you out doing? All of those things. And sometimes it is that anxious attachment. Sometimes it is their past. And if you know someone has a terrible past and maybe they've been cheated on, yes, they should deal with that. They should not bring that into the current relationship. They should trust you, but they're not gonna until they know they can. Yeah. And giving someone that gift of transparency, saying, hey, listen, I don't go through my phone. Like, don't be mad when you see me bitching about you or what I've been Googling or what I spent money on. Like, you can't be mad about what you find, but you can go through there and knock yourself out. Like, go into my pictures, go into my Snapchat, go into all of these things that you think would be something. And if you ask your partner, hey, let me see your phone, and they spend 5 minutes on it before they hand it to you,
they scrubbing it.
They factory resetting that mother. Like, just get all of it away. I'll pull down from the cloud. It's one of those things that's your answer. You know, but if they had maybe a relationship where somebody was all up in their business and didn't trust them, and so everything was a fight and they needed to be in their stuff all the time, and so now maybe they're a little more about relinquishing that control or relinquishing that password or whatever it is, you can be a little understanding about that too. Like, listen, my last one went through my phone every night when I went to bed. It got old. I would be in trouble for stupid shit. And I would wake up and be like, who's this? Why do you have this? And who's this? And it's just exhausting. So I don't feel comfortable giving somebody my passcode, or I'll trust you with it until I can't.
I think there's a 3-strike rule on that exact what you just said. You get two times of waking up and saying, who is this? After you just went through my phone.
Right.
And I explained to you that that's my literal cousin, my first cousin.
Right.
We grew up together. You get that twice. The third time you do it, it's done.
That's right.
I'm sorry. Because it's never going to stop.
It's never going to
I've
stop.
proven to you twice that this is who they are, or whatever, you know. Yeah. And you couldn't find anything else but that one thing. And it turned out not to be who you thought it was.
And it's a friend that I just friended on Facebook that sent me a message saying, hey, how are things going?
It's a spam bot. They sent porn. It's obvious.
Like, I get boobies in my inbox. I get penis, like, and I'm like, what? Or Snapchat people trying to add me. And I'm like, who is this person? I don't know you, you know? And sometimes they sneak through, and especially on Instagram. Instagram is the worst inbox. Like, so much spam and bots and Russian ladies looking. And I'm like, why me? Like, what are you targeting me for? I mean, I know I've had short hair, but I don't go that way. Like, it's fine. But, you know, it's those things but I've known people to get mad about that, about the bots and and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, you got mad at him because some Russian girl tried to add him as a friend?
Yeah.
Like, do you know how common that is?
Exactly.
Like, it's crazy. So
wait a minute. So the Russian girl likes you too? No.
She added me.
She added me first. No.
Could be a group thing.
That's hilarious. No, I think you're right. If you're looking for something, you're going to find it. And if you have someone that's open, that's going to let you look for something, and you find nothing, or you find something out of nothing, you won't have them very long.
No, because nobody wants that. I mean, everyone wants to be trusted. And if you can't trust your partner, why are you with them? Like, why are you with someone? I mean, there's a lot of reasons that people stay and they feel obligated, or financially they're bound, or whatever it is, but there is always a way out. And why do you want to live that way? Like, I'd rather be broke as a mother, living in a one little tiny ass apartment with nothing, sleeping on the floor with just a mattress.
Yeah.
Than going home and having to hear it every day, or being with someone who didn't trust me for no reason. It's exhausting.
Absolutely.
And stressful, and all of that creates health issues, and your life is short. Why are you wasting time? Like, just deal with the fallout, because, if someone's doing that to you, there's probably going to be fallout. Deal with that and move forward. And the next person you're with, you may get to say, yeah, my ex is a little crazy, but I didn't drive them there.
Yeah.
That's the kicker, because and I think more men say that than women. Oh, she's so crazy. She was always in my stuff and she never trusted me. Well, what were you doing? Like, if you truly weren't doing anything, fine. But a lot of times it's the gaslight. It's let me see. She tried to go through my phone. Well, why wouldn't you let her go through your phone? Like, red flag 1. Why, I was always late coming home from work. Well, where were you? Well, I would go to the bar every day after work.
Yeah.
Red flag 2. But she's the crazy one, because she finally got sick of your shit and started calling you out on it, and y'all started fighting.
I've found the most suspicious are the ones probably doing the things behind the back.
Oh, for sure. The guilty accused.
Yeah. If they're jumping out there to, ask you what you've been doing, it maybe because they was out there doing it.
Or they're going to try to find something. Now that you're mad at them, they're going to try to find something to make it your fault too.
Yep.
Well, look, we both did it. Well, like, you went on a date with the person, and I just had somebody in my inbox saying, hey, what's up?
Right.
Distinctly different things. So yeah, I think it's that communication and expectations, and, talking about what you want in a relationship. And if that person cannot provide it, then you have to decide if it's something you have to have, or move forward. And it sucks. It sucks being alone. I can tell you, it sucks being alone, but it's way better than being in a bad relationship. Like, I could not be alone right now. Like, you're like, why are you single? I could not be single. Like, there's plenty of men in my inbox, but I don't. Both
married and single.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Facts. Big facts on that one. Like, y'all better be coming through with your wife on Valentine's Day, because I'm gonna put you on blast if you don't. I don't want to settle that they didn't give me the tickle. I want to get a little tickle, and it's been a long time since I've had the little tickle. But you got to have a little tickle. And when they're not giving you the tickle, they may check a lot of boxes, but when you don't get any tickle, what are you doing? You're settling, and that's exhausting.
Now, is that like a Texas tickler, or is that like a tingle?
I mean, it could be both if it's a right relationship. No, it's just that, Ashley always says she's got to get a little tickle in her butthole. I don't know why. That's just what she says.
Today, that means an entirely new thing with all the butt licking going on these days.
Right? There's a little too much of that in my world. Like, no, I'm not. No, that is not anywhere anyone needs to ever go.
Seems
sexually.
like an opening for an infection or something.
It really does. And ew. Like, ew.
There's no way to clean it enough.
I'm
sorry.
Dirty.
Yeah.
It's dirty. I can't.
The bacteria there is not meant for the bacteria in your mouth.
Exactly.
Sorry. Even the clean bacteria. And listen, no judgment. Judgment-free zone. Do your thing.
You like it, I love it. But not it.
I love it for you.
For you. Not me. No. One of my friends, he just got divorced, and he was we had very similar marriages. And so he just finally got out of his, and he, is now single, and of course getting hit up by all the ladies, because he's a good looking guy, and he's still youngish like me. And so he's getting hit up by all the ladies, and he's just like, I'm not here for it. Like, I don't want a relationship. You know, I want to go out and do things and date and all of that. Cause I mean, they were married for like 10 years and he had dated some before that, but a lot changes in 10 years. And he just wants to have fun. And, you know, we are in the age range where most people don't want to just have fun. Like, we want to go out and meet someone and be with someone and find a partner. And so he's really having a hard time juggling it. And, you know, but he is juggling it, and he's not being real honest. And I had to get onto him the other day because I do know one of the girls that he had been talking to, and he kind of made it seem like he was ready for a relationship with her and he wanted something bigger and all of this stuff. And, you know, I'm like, listen, if you're just trying to get it in, just let him know. I don't want anything serious, but if you want to come up here and stay and we can hit it for the weekend, and then when I'm around, we can, and she's okay with that, fine. But you have to make that clear, because at, you know, a certain age, people aren't just trying to get it in and go on. Like, they're talking to you, they're building a relationship. They obviously find you interesting enough to spend time in those conversations, because if I don't find you interesting enough, I am not going to sit around and talk to you. Like, I have too much on my plate. I talk all the time. I deal with staff all the time. I don't want to just have asinine, simple conversations to build into nothing. Like, it's just not going to happen. I've had to have the conversation with him of, you just have to be honest. He's like, well, what if she doesn't, you know, what if she's not into that? Then she's not into that. And you move on. But you don't use her.
Yeah, you can't shoplift the pootie, though.
Exactly.
That's what that is.
That's exactly.
Acting like you're getting to know her for a full-on relationship, but you're just trying to have some weekends.
Exactly.
That's shoplifting the pootie.
It is shoplifting. Stop it. You have to, I mean, and there are men and women both who are fine with just getting it in on the weekend. Like, listen, I'm going to be in town. You good? You free? All right, cool. And that's fine too. Have your hotation. It's fine. Everyone in the hotation needs to understand that it's just a hotation. Like, we're not in this for some serious relationship. We're not probably having real conversations outside of that this is what it is. And you can have a friends with benefits situation, but a lot of times that turns into more. So that friends with benefits, someone is going to catch feelings the longer you spend together. Like, if you're truly just acquaintances that get it in every now and then, you're probably pretty safe there. But if you're friends, if you're hanging out, if you're chatting all the time, and then you're getting it in here, and then more frequently, and now we're having sleepovers, someone is going to catch feelings.
Or one of you is already attached.
Yes, or one of you already was hoping that this would turn into this type of situation. And if everyone doesn't consistently stay on the same page and check in and have those conversations of, we good? Or, you know, and if you're questioning it, if you think that it may be more, someone's having more feelings, then you say, listen, I met somebody, I'm going on a date, and you see how that person reacts.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because if they get all butthurt about it, then they have feelings for you that's beyond what you've agreed upon, and you need to cut that out, because it's not fair. It's not fair to drag someone along. It's not fair to keep them in the loop when you know that they have feelings for you, because you may be saying, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it. But if your actions are saying different, then that person is going to believe differently. Regardless of what you're saying. Yes, they should believe what you say, like, completely, because people will tell you who they are, but they may show you something different because it's benefiting them, because they shoplifting in the poo-nanny. You just have to have those conversations.
That was a phrase used in Jerry Maguire, the movie.
That's
Jerry
where
Maguire.
it came from. I was sitting here trying to think of where it came from.
Yeah, it's like, she's a single mom. You shoplifting the pootie.
Shoplifting it.
Yeah.
If you are in this situationship and you notice that this person is having feelings for you or saying things that make you feel like they have feelings for you, then you need to address that. Because again, it's not fair. Right. It's not fair to that other person to have this mindset that it's changing because now you are spending more time together, or you are doing these other things. You are maybe going out in public together when you didn't go out in public together. And so they're thinking it's progressing because you had this conversation a while ago, but they're thinking things have changed but they haven't for you. And so it is important to just have those conversations.
And if you freely and regularly tell multiple people on the rotation that what they want to hear and they are all interested, then you're a serial liar that is a piece of garbage.
Right.
I mean, think about it. There's a lot of people out there that do that too, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That have multiple women that just, I mean, I'm on the, so.
I was thinking women that did men that way, but no, I'm kidding.
Yes, no.
But you're right.
It's both, though.
Absolutely.
It is both. And, it's way easier for women. Like, we can get sex whenever. Like, I can go to Walmart right now and find somebody to have sex with me. Like, men don't get that benefit. Or I don't know if it's a benefit, but it just doesn't work that way. But I am on.
If you have a healthy sexual appetite, man. No, I'm just kidding.
True. You're picking up I mean, you can always pick up something.
That's true.
Like, there's always someone that will go home with whoever. Like, that's a fact. But, sticking to I love the other people's stupidity and drama. I'm on one of the Are We Dating the Same Guy pages out of Oklahoma City. And so these women will come on and put this guy, take 10 comments. And now there's a men's site where they've been blasted. So these men have their own page of, I've been put on this page. And I'm like, bro, I wouldn't advertise that. But, it'll be this woman will post and be like, this is his name. This is a picture. This is his initials. This is what I've got going. And then these women will just be in the comments of, I went out with him last night, or he hit me up on Snapchat, or yes, he's in my Instagram, and to have screenshots, like receipts for these women. And I'm just like, oh my God, because I love reading about it because it ain't me. I ain't in that drama. I hate it for these women because these men are telling them they love them. They are spending time with them. They are doing these things. But I'm just thinking, again, it goes to if you have to post your man on one of those sites, you already know. You already know. If you think you need to go through their phone because their behavior's changed up or whatever it is, you already know. Yeah. You already know. Like, why? You say you want proof, but that's really not going to do you any good. You already have the proof. It makes me sad. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll be real. I read all the comments, and I think it's kind of funny when they're going in on each other. Like, the women are always very supportive on the pages. But they'll just be going in on this man and be like, oh yeah, here's the receipt. What do you need? I'll call him and have him meet me, and you show up, and they're like doing all these things, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like, some of these poor guys. But then again, these poor guys are putting themselves in those situations by making people think it's more than it is. It's not these random, and sometimes it's very sad situation to be like, listen, I'm pregnant by this guy, but I think he's out here. And these women will be like, yep, he is. Here's the proof. Here's the screenshots. And it's just like, oh, these poor women. But again, you obviously knew. You wouldn't go to a page like that if you didn't think you were going to get a response.
Yeah. And those are careless dudes too, because they have screenshots.
Yeah. Right.
Who puts anything in black and white?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You should just be calling only from a burner number. Get you a Google number. Get Google Voice on your phone, bro. Like, go buy you a track phone at Walmart and have
right.
And that's the thing with someone who, if you think they're doing it and you're all in their business, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, you can look at my phone.
Mm-hmm.
They probably got another phone.
They scrubbed it and have another burner. You're right.
Yeah, like go check their car.
Yeah,
because I bet there's another phone out there.
That's funny.
Like, if all of a sudden, they're like, oh, yes, here's my phone. Here's my passcodes. You can get onto everything. Bro got a new phone.
It's in the bottom of his center console, or it's in the door.
It's in the door. It's under the seat. It's somewhere you wouldn't see it when you're in the car with him. It's always on silent.
Yeah.
And it's always charged.
And he'll say, oh, that was my old phone.
On my old phone.
It's not turned on.
Like, bro, you've never had an old phone.
Why is it still charged?
Like, no one keeps an old phone. Who keeps an old phone? For the phone numbers?
It's in a drawer in the kitchen if it's an old phone.
I went through a box the other day. I found 2 old phones. I don't even have chargers that would fit them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yes, that's an old phone. And then I'm like, why am I keeping these? Like, then I'm like, what if I throw it away and people I'm like, how would anybody get in the information? It's one of those things you're like, why do you hold on to these things? And because we were all scared about people finding them and getting all your information. But I'm like, okay, this BlackBerry does not have my credit card information on it. I could probably just throw it in the trash. It's fine. We started this conversation off way differently, but I never know where anything's going to go. So it all boils down to that communication and knowing what your relationship is, knowing what you want it to be. And if that person that you're dating or starting to date, you get to ask questions up front. Early on, if you have very particular expectations about relationships, ask it early on. Listen, I'm a big communicator. I like to text throughout the day. I like to get a phone call every now and then. I like to send memes back and forth, or I enjoy Snapchat, so we can just shoot each other a little picture every now and then and go on. And if they're like, yeah, I don't ever use my phone. But then every time you're with them, they're on their phone.
Right.
Like, okay, these things are not similar. But if you are with them and they really aren't ever on their phone, then you go, okay, this is just a person that doesn't use, they may have social media, but they don't use it. Okay, that's fair enough. But if they're doing opposite things than what they're saying, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And if they say, yeah, I'm not really on my phone a lot, but if you need that good morning and that good night text, and then we'll talk a little bit on the phone, is that going to be good enough? Yeah, that's good enough. And then if they have to, they set themselves an alarm. Or you can schedule, like, I don't know with iPhones, I'm sure you can with iPhones, but, you know, I'm an Android person. I can schedule a message to go at a certain time. So I'm going to go in and schedule it to go in and go out like, if that's what I need to do, so I can make sure I'm doing that for you because it's meaningful for them. And I think that's the important part.
What if you don't know what's meaningful for them?
Well,
What if you've been together 10 years and you still don't know what's really meaningful for them?
then that's a them thing. They should have told you.
Not paying attention?
Well, but maybe they never told you or got upset by it. And when you are communicating with someone, and I'm guilty of being passive aggressive when I'm pissed off. Like, I own that. I try really, really hard not to be. And if someone calls me on it, I'd be like, you right. My bad. Like, that was shitty. I should have just said this. But I have to work on it because that's who I am. But if it's something that I need, I may make a little shitty comment, but I will circle back around and be like, you know what? I was upset because I really enjoy it when you call me each morning, or I really want to know when you've made it home because I'm a worrier. It's just in my genes. And I know you may get home and get busy and go into night mode and getting ready for the next day. But like, before you get out of your car, just, you know, make it a habit to say, I'm home, whatever it is. Or even if you're going to the grocery store, you're going to, whatever it is, you know, say, okay, you know, when you leave my house, be like, all right, I'm going to run a couple places, then I'll be home, but I'll let you know when I get home. Okay, cool. Like, because that's just who I am. I'm a worrier. I'm going to worry about you getting home.
Or let her put Life 360 on your phone and then put the little alerts. So when you get home, it alerts you.
Done. It's that easy. And it's those little things that you can do for your partner. Because if it does drive you nuts to text them, that's a great solution. Like, listen, you got Life 360. You're going to know when I get home. I may not get to go straight home. I may not, but you got Life 360. It's going to ding you. So if I forget to message you, at least you know I've made it home.
Right.
And it's just those little things that we do for our partners. And if there's something that's been annoying your partner for 15 years and they've never told you, then that's a them thing. You don't get to be annoyed by something I didn't know I was doing. That's my rule. Like, if I'm doing something, you're like, it drives me nuts when you do that. Like, you've never said anything about that. I will work on that.
I've suppressed it for 15 years now. I can't anymore. No.
Exactly. Now it's just really driving my nerves. Like, it's getting on my nerves. Well, you should have told me that, 15 years ago, 15 months ago, 15 days ago, whenever I first did it. In the beginning, it's hard because you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to say, I don't want to hurt their feelings because they're saying this and it's bothering me. But if you don't, every time they do it, you're getting annoyed and they're fine because they don't know. There's something, and maybe not right off the bat, be like, why? Why are you doing that? Oh my, can you stop? You're like, what? I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, you're chewing loudly. It's the way my mouth echoes. I'll sit farther away from you. Like, whatever it is, but you get to say, listen, when you don't do, or when you do X, Y, Z, it really hurts my feelings. It makes me feel less than. It makes me feel neglected. It makes me feel like you're not thinking about me, or it's just one of my pet peeves and I can't stand it. So, like, can we work on that? Is this a fundamental issue? Like, is this something you're willing to change? And then that person gets to say yes or no. And then you are the one that decides whether you're going to live with it or not. Because once you have the conversation and you come to a conclusion, and they're just like, yeah, no, I'm not changing that. Like, this is, like, I really enjoy smacking my gum or whatever it is. I don't know. Just, there's those little things that chewing ice, I really, like, it's something I really enjoy. How can we make it not annoy you? because I really enjoy it, just like you really enjoy whatever it is that I could be annoyed by, but I'm not. You sit there and play your game with the volume on while we're watching TV. I don't say anything about that. It annoys me a little bit, but I don't say anything about it because I know you enjoy hearing the little ching-chingy sounds. So how can we work this out? And it's about having those conversations. But if you're getting frustrated with someone and if you've only made passive aggressive remarks about it, then they don't have to change. Like, that's my rule too. Like, if you've only been like, do you have to do that? Or why are you doing whatever it is, they don't have to change. Right? Crunch.
Yeah, crunch louder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then they're going to be like, I bet. If you've said, listen, this bothers me, and you have a conversation about it, because you're, again, grown people in a relationship. And if you are a grown person in a relationship and you don't know how to have conversations about relationship issues, then you are a grown person that shouldn't be in a relationship. Or you learn to have those conversations. It's not fair to your partner to get mad at them over something they don't know that they're doing. Or maybe you've only addressed once and it was a while ago and they stopped for a while, but now they're back doing it. They may not even recognize they're back doing it. So you get to say, hey, remember when we talked about that? It seems like you're doing that again. Is there a reason? Can we work on it? Whatever it is. You just really have to have those open and honest conversations. And sometimes they suck because it is uncomfortable to say, I don't like this about you when you're with someone. Maybe they don't like it about themselves either, but they've never worked on it because they live alone or no one said anything. And they're like, you know what? I'm not a big fan about that. Like, it's me with my passive aggressive. I have been called out on it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, I really need to work on that. And so they had permission every time I did it to be like, you're being passive aggressive. Try again. And I'd be like, you're right. My bad.
It stings a little, but you're right.
Let me reword that. Give me a minute, though, because I'm still pissed. So
Right?
it is one of those things that I think there's just about anything in a relationship that you can work through if you want to. But everybody has to be on the same page.
And guys, if you really have nothing to hide, go ahead and let her put the Life 360 on your phone, because I promise you it's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's really nothing. So... And then you have a bargaining chip if you ever want to do something you shouldn't do, like go to the strip club or whatever it is. Right. I don't know what you shouldn't do in your relationship. But if you want to go to the strip club and, she's like, why are you at the strip club? And you're like, you want me to take the 360 off? Or you want to know where I'm at?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you probably, if you have a decent enough relationship, you probably already said, listen, me and my bros are going to the strip club. I know you don't like it.
Right.
But I'm going, and they may throw a fit about it. But again, there's those things that sometimes people get mad about that I'm like, listen, if y'all have ever been to a strip club, your man ain't doing nothing because he probably doesn't have the money to pay for the good stuff anyway, like that backroom stuff. You know how much money he's got. He probably ain't got the money for it. So, like,
watch the credit card charges.
Exactly. Like, no cash. Set your limits. Set your boundaries. Whatever.
That's funny.
And at least that's where they are. They're not saying, yeah, no, I'm going out to just a bar with my friend, and then they're at a strip club, and then you find out later they're at a strip club and there's a big fight because they hid it from you.
True.
Well, because you wouldn't want me at a strip club. Well, maybe not, but I want you to be honest. Like, I would rather you be honest than whatever. Because what if something happened? And I didn't know where you were, and I'm calling these places. Terrible things happen all the time in the world. And if something happened at the place that you're supposed to be at, and now I'm panicked, but in fact, you've lied to me.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, son. Like, that ain't gonna go over well.
You in double trouble, bro.
You in double trouble. When you could have been just like, listen, I know you don't like it, so I'm going to go to the strip club with my boys. You know where I am. I'm not going to,
we'll talk about it when I get home.
Right. I'm not going to do anything. Like, you should have enough trust in your partner. Like, if they're going to strip clubs, I've known women to even get mad at their men for going to like Hooters or Twin Peaks or whatever it is. I'm like, guys, seriously, if they want to go look, let them go look. They're coming home to you. Because I can tell you those waitresses aren't going home with them. Promise. They ain't loading up with your man because he bought a burger and tipped him $5.
They're smiling, winking for an extra couple bucks.
Absolutely.
That's about it.
That's it. I like Twin Peaks. I like the food.
Me too.
The food is good. If you're really worried about what's going on there, go with them. If they have nothing to hide, they'll take you with them at least once. Maybe not on the bro trip. Like, that's not when you want to be there. But if you don't know, if you've never been to a strip club, but you don't want your man going, y'all go together. And you will see that it's really pretty just innocent. Like, them women just trying to make money. Like, they flirting and they doing their thing and they showing all the goods, and that's fine because that's their job. If you have nothing to hide, hide nothing. Let them have access. Let them have the Life 360. Let them do the things. Even if you're just dating, and because I was, dating someone and they had Life 360 on, and it was a push because he was very against it. But we were long distance, and I like to know where, like, you're driving all the way home and it's a long drive and maybe it was at night. And so I want to be able to go, okay, you're still driving, instead of me going, hey, are you okay? Like, how's the road? How's the traffic? Because I'm a worrier. Just let me be a worrier. You don't need to know about it, though.
Right.
I'm not going to drive you nuts with my worrying. I can just check and go, okay, you're almost there. Okay, you went here. All right, you grabbed food before you went home. Like, whatever it is, and I will never say a word about it. Because I'm like, why did you go here? Why did you take that way home?
Right.
Then you lose privileges. As you should. I don't know. It's very random.
Speaking of losing privileges, you're about to lose your mic privileges over there, it looks like.
It droops. I'm telling you,
It's
it
so
doesn't
heavy.
like me. It starts at one spot and then it just goes all the way down. It's fine. It's because it's done. It's time to be done.
Well, I've enjoyed this one. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I like it when you're on. Gives me somebody to talk to. I'm not just talking to myself. But we will wrap this one up and see you guys next week. For my producer, Jay Lindley, I'm Leslie Ross. Thank you all for joining us. Please send any questions or comments through the website, heytherapist.com, or email help@heytherapist.com. They may be featured on the show anonymously. Hey Therapist is an SEOK radio production and is for your entertainment purposes only. Thank you for joining us. Make good choices.